What's up, my brother, Big Elegant Sasquatch,
Yo,
the
what
fat
is going
guy?
on, Dino? What is
What's
going
going
on,
on,
Dino?
brother?
How you making
Uh,
out? You all right?
Doing good, doing good. For those that are here, they probably noticed something different on our countdown screen, and they probably noticed something different in the intro video. Um, Seems like our faction got a little bigger, Sasquatch,
A
and
little bit, but by
let's
miles, miles.
so this is what we're talking about. We got a new guy, and he's joining the crew, and he's part of the faction. So let's bring him in without further ado. 30 Spray J, officially part of the Suplex Syndicate.
Uh-oh.
Woo!
There we go.
Fireworks. Pew, 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 pew,
Pyro,
pew.
pyro, pyro,
Pyro,
pyro.
big pyro, big
Exactly,
pyro,
exactly.
big pyro.
We're gonna add that in on the back end.
Awesome. So, newest member of the crew. How you feeling?
Oh, on cloud nine, Dino on cloud nine. Wow. Such an honor to be live with my two brothers right here.
Absolutely, man. I look forward to this every week.
That's
Every
right.
week.
That's right. What an awesome fit. I'm gonna say hello really quick to a couple people. We got Baker in. What's going
What's up,
on,
Baker?
Baker?
Which, by the way,
Right
I'm on
here.
his show right after this, 8:30. So jump on over after we're done, and you're gonna see this beautiful face even more. So.
Born Bearded, what's going on, brother? Thanks for coming on.
Hey,
Kay, what's happening, Kay? What's going on?
What's up, Kev?
Alrighty. So it looks like I got all the hellos out there. I'm sure there's gonna be some more people joining in, but
What's
man,
up,
we have
Melissa?
had a busy. We got Copper Johns, Melissa. What's going on, Melissa? Awesome. We had a very busy week in wrestling, but I think the best part was probably last night at Saturday night's main event. So I figured we'd start there. And wait, I'm gonna pull up this picture right here. I gotta say,
it's John Cena.
tell me, you guys don't love that shirt. I think
I
I'm
love
gonna
this
buy
shirt.
this shirt.
Dude, and anytime he puts out,
Yes.
anytime our truth puts out a shirt, I love when he was with the when he was the fake member of the Judgment Day. That was great. I mean, that was fantastic. I love this one. I also love that promo that he cut on Friday. That was fantastic too.
Right.
I was saying to Dino that this is probably our truth's best work.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
take him seriously. That he is the wrestler of wrestlers, man. Like,
Right.
he's been in it the longest. He's had a hard come up coming into wrestling.
Right.
He just happened to get on TV time because Road Dogg and his wife were in Tennessee on vacation. He was getting ready to quit, and Road Dogg's like, "Hey, was that you rapping?" He's like, "Yeah, it was me." He's like, "Give me 6 months, you'll be on TV."
Right. And that's something about that too is he is 54 years old, right?
Does not look it.
Black
Still
don't
looks
crack, baby.
Does not look it. And man, I'll tell you what, when he went through his move set, doing all the John Cena move set last night,
Yeah,
man, that was fantastic.
he did it better than John Cena.
Yeah,
Thank you,
and I
thank you.
I
I was gonna
was
say that.
and I was really, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but man, I was pulling for our truth to win,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Man,
You know,
no
He almost
title,
had it.
no title. He should have won it.
Yeah, he almost
right,
had it too. So
right. And that's the thing. Our truth did such a fantastic job. Because you saw the beginning, it was kind of like, really wasn't coming out of the gate, and then that switch hit, and he just went through all those moves, and I think it was really cool. Seeing him do the five knuckle shuffle.
Oh,
You can't
absolutely.
see me on Cena. How epic was that, man?
You know what? Even though it was our truth, the
Right.
intro, the entrance,
Yeah.
everything about it brought back the childhood of the John Cena that everyone loved.
Right.
And
Oh, go ahead.
so to me, that was like nostalgic in itself. And for that split second, when John Cena was going to hit him with the belt, and he's like, he thought about it. I was like, oh, he's going to still do something dirty. I know,
Right.
but you saw that little bit of goodness still left in John Cena.
Mhm. You know, I was kind of like, it was awesome when he came out, did the whole John Cena entrance, the whole thing.
Yes.
I mean, he had everything. It was awesome. He had the shirt, he had the hat, and he had the towel. He had everything. I mean, totally mimicking John Cena. That was so awesome. And I'll tell you what, I'm still going to stick with my prediction. That was a non title match. I'm still sticking with the prediction that our truth, at the end of the day, whenever John Cena's last match will be, our truth is going to be the savior of WWE.
Woo!
I'm
And
sticking with it.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. You know
I
what? If you
personally
don't,
find it. I find it funny every time they our truth and Cena are mentioned. Michael Cole says Cena was our truth's favorite wrestler growing up as a
childhood,
kid, and our truth is like 10 years older than
Right,
Cena.
right,
I I,
right,
I,
love it,
I laugh
love
every
it.
time I hear that line because it's so stupid. It's hilarious.
right,
Our truth had that gimmick with Little Jimmy. You remember Little
right.
Oh
Jimmy?
yeah,
Little Jimmy.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I love that. I loved the R Truth back when he was in TNA and the whole X division. It was him and Xavier Woods.
yeah.
Hmm.
I forget what his name was back in TNA. They used to have a tag team. That was a great thing back then too. So
Right,
Was
right.
it K Quick? Was it K Quick before?
I think so.
I know he was K Quick sometime.
Yeah.
I don't know
Right.
if it was TNA or WWE.
Think it was, yeah, I think it was TNA. I don't think it was WWE, if memory serves me right. But I'm getting
Yeah.
old. I could be wrong. I'm getting kind of old. But alrighty, and then let's move on to this since we were talking John Cena. Man, John. So let's talk about this. So you see John Cena in the back, and he's talking to Jey Uso, right? And he's kind of putting the pressure on Jey Uso, but he kind of made something that was valid, talking about if Logan Paul were to win the belt, then that would destroy wrestling, right? So it kind of gets your gears thinking because I'm like, okay, maybe something's going on. But when he came down and interfered, I totally thought that was it. I'm like, all right, he's interfering. Logan Paul is going to win it, and they've got
Yep.
some master plan. And I did not see Cody coming out. That was pretty crazy at the end. Cody coming out.
You know what's surprising about Cody Rhodes? He's been
Mhm.
gone since WrestleMania, and
Right,
I forgot about him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When
right,
he came back, I was like, oh gosh, I forgot Cody Rhodes.
Because
right.
they don't talk about him on TV at all. You don't hear anything
Yeah.
from him. I mean, the only time you really ever hear about him is when they talk about when Cena won the title, and that's it. That's all you
Yeah.
ever hear about it. So
Yeah.
that's one good thing when with wrestlers in WWE when they're off TV, you
Right,
completely forget about them because they don't talk about them.
Mhm.
So when they
right,
come back, I'm
Sure.
like, oh my god, he's back, So
right,
that I actually really enjoy what they do with their talent that's off TV, where they don't hate to say it, where they don't talk about them, but when they do bring them back, it's actually a
Speak,
spectacle.
speaking of who came back, look at
right.
Big Bronson Breed, not so big no more.
Ooh.
we'll
I would.
we'll get we'll
Oh
get to
god.
him. We'll get to him. I got him coming up. But did you guys like? I'm sure you both were like, "Yep, sounds like Cena's coming up. He's gonna interfere." Any of you guys, would you have in a million years predicted Cody Rhodes coming out at the end?
No. No.
No, I honestly thought Jay was going to lose it right then.
Right.
I was probably like 13 years old, cussing at my TV at the second, like, no, don't do this to me. Because
Right.
Logan Paul, I love Logan Paul the wrestler.
You hate the
I
person.
hate Logan Paul the personality, the YouTuber. He's got the athletics, he's got the wrestling skills. I can't stand the persona that he portrays himself to be on YouTube.
Yep.
You
Shout
know
out to
what?
Logan Paul. Maybe we'll get a shout out.
You know, I got to say this about Logan Paul though. He does an absolute awesome job at being a heel. He makes you want to hate him.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you look at it, I mean, his level of hatred is probably, I don't know. I'm willing to bet either the same level or maybe a little bit higher than John Cena
Yeah.
right
Oh,
now.
100%. He.
It's a
Well,
natural
I
hate.
was gonna say up
You got
until
to
just
make yourself
recently.
hate John Cena.
Yeah,
Right.
up until just recently, he was the second most booed person in WWE, right behind Dominic. I mean,
Right.
You know?
now he's number one because Dominic's now a face apparently. But
Right. Right. But you know, I mean, he does a good job at that. And so, I mean, I don't think we've seen the end of Logan Paul with trying to get the championship. I actually think my timeline was is I thought maybe by next year sometime, but I think there's some storyline going forward where it's part of the plan with the corporate champion and all that, whatever, to get Logan that so they can destroy wrestling. I think that's going to be a theme from going forward. I think it's going to happen. They're going to try to do something with that because why bring something up like that and then you know what I mean? They're planting that seed pretty hard, I think. So, yep.
yeah, so I would love. I want to see because I know they have that main event in the pay per view in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I want to see what they do after that. Are they going to continue with that? Because it seems like every show, Cena has a new opponent. So
Right.
is like they're not really building up a storyline outside of Cena's big arc. So they're just throwing people at him. I wonder if they're going to throw um, Paul at him too.
I don't know. You know, I really think with what they did last night planting that seed is I think the goal is for Cena to keep the belt, Logan to win that one, and them collectively try to destroy wrestling. Yeah, almost how you know how like when the NWO came out, they were and WCW, they were like gonna destroy everything that WCW stood for, and that caused a group to form an allegiance to take these guys on. You know what I mean? So I think maybe it might be something along that line. Who knows? But I don't think they mentioned that light last night for no reason. There's something gonna happen with that, you know. Um,
Well, when we spoke on during the week, um, somehow, some way, Seth Rollins is not the big heel that he portrays himself to be.
right.
And I think that sooner or later, because I don't think he needs Paul Heyman, I think sooner or later Paul Heyman will backstab Seth Rollins, forcing him to be the face again. Bronson
Whoops.
Reed and Breaker will be.
Whoop, wrong one.
I and I think sooner or later Seth's gonna have to be the Messiah, the visionary, the revolutionary, savior.
So you're telling me that this faction isn't basically what Paul Heyman did in WCW with the Holy Alliance or whatever it was called,
Yeah, yeah.
Poly Dangerously Alliance, because
Look,
that's
Paul
what it reminds me of.
Brock Lesnar needed a mouthpiece. Roman Reigns needed a mouthpiece.
Yep.
Seth Rollins is his own mouthpiece. He
Sure,
doesn't need a Paul Heyman.
sure. I
Both these guys coming up, these big guys, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, they
right,
need a mouthpiece.
right. You know, so here's my thing with what's going on right now with Paul Heyman and these three guys, right? and no disrespect at all, but it's almost like the Timu Wish version of the Bloodline. It's like here's my thing. I think the big problem is when you put Braun Breaker in a faction, right? You just kind of slowed him down. You just slowed his momentum down. And I don't know about you guys. I've kind of had enough of Bloodline type factions, right? Like they're doing the same thing that the Bloodline did. Seth Rollins is kind of trying to act like the tribal chief, like certain things he's doing, like if you're going to have a faction, to me, if you're going to have a faction like this, make it be a breath of fresh air. Do your own things. You know what I mean? And it's not fresh to me. It's stale, because it just, to me, it doesn't work. I like those guys, but it just doesn't work for me as a
The
faction.
one thing that confuses me about this, because usually what a good faction is, you normally have a mouthpiece, you
Right.
normally have a muscle, and you normally have a high flyer. That one,
Right.
that in some way. Now you got two mouthpieces and two muscle guys. I'm like, you need there. I have a feeling there's gonna be a fourth.
We'll get to
For
that,
sure.
Brewer.
Yeah, that because that's what it's setting up. There's gonna be another person on this,
Right.
and then there's your Survivor Series.
WWE doesn't have factions like that. They have tag teams that they weekly use.
Mm-hmm.
They use them so weekly.
Right.
But
Yep.
three or
So,
more guys,
yeah,
you only got one. You only got one.
So if they could add, like I said, one more person, or they could add another. They could add a tag team to this division right here. This little shindig that they got going on, and
Right.
there would be it right there. I could see like
Right.
the New Day entering this whole thing, but
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to. I don't even know who I would say would be a good fourth member for them. You know,
Hmm.
it's hard to tell.
yeah,
You
because
know.
nobody saw Bronson coming back joining this at
Yeah.
all. I
Yeah.
didn't see
Nobody.
it. I know
Nobody.
Jay didn't see that. That was a
I didn't see
complete
it.
surprise. I
And I
mean,
Right.
was here for it though.
yeah,
As soon as I saw it, I was here for it.
yeah,
Yeah. 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 That was.
Because to me, Bronson Reed is the guy that they want to put against Jacob Fatu and build those two up.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I guess they were going a different direction with the thought too. And
Right.
we've already talked about it in previous episodes. But
Right.
um,
Right. And then speaking of Fatu, I mean, you see there's some friction between him and what are they calling him? JC, the new guy, Cobb. They changed his name.
Cobb,
Yeah, they,
it's
uh,
JC. Oh,
JC.
McCobb.
yeah, it starts with the M. I think it is.
Yeah. So I mean, you've got that build up there,
Yeah,
So we'll have to see, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Where Seth Rollins ends. I'm not a big CM Punk fan. Um, I'll probably catch heat on it. I didn't like him when he was first in WWE. To me, it blows my mind that he has such a big following. Um,
mm,
but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of him. To me, a lot of his stuff now, you look at the guy and you're like, it's not believable. I just,
mm.
I don't care for him. Seth Rollins, I like Seth Rollins. And then we're still, there's the third piece, Roman Reigns, because
Yeah,
it's still this triangle.
yeah,
What's to say Roman Reigns and,
Matu. JC
well,
Matu.
yeah, what's to say Roman Reigns and Seth, maybe like you guys are talking about is what if they formed the alliance to save WWE, bringing the Shield back?
Let me take my sunglasses off for this. The Shield is dead.
yes.
It's not
It's,
happening.
No.
They're
well,
gonna.
what, oh, shit. Okay, I just lost the chat again.
No, it's still up there. I got it. You're
Yep.
good.
But, you know, it's one of those things where you look, um, Is it dead? Sure.
Yeah, that's never coming back. Like it's had a moment, moments, um, especially with the last year's WrestleMania, but it's not coming back.
Yeah.
There's no way. Roman's too big of a star. Seth is too big of a star for that
Yeah,
faction.
I think it's too much, too big of egos to be in that kind of faction. The
Exactly.
biggest ego
Well,
that this faction is Seth
right.
Rollins,
Yep.
Paul
Right.
Heyman.
Yep.
Well, famous wrestling last words I will tell you is never say never, because I've
Never say
seen
never.
stranger stuff happen, and you got to remember Seth is healthy, Roman's healthy, and
Yeah.
you got to look at it at a business wise. How many shirts would they sell if they just brought those two back as the Shield?
Yeah. But that now.
If they bring the Shield back and never brought back an Evolution, man,
Well, you got to remember there's we're not in the Vince McMahon era, so
true.
things can happen. You see a lot of people and they keep talking about it. So just setting it out there. I would say I'm never saying no to anything, because
Mm,
stuff that I never thought would happen happens. People appear, but
mm.
you never know. Um, those two could be saviors of wrestling going
You
up against the
know,
corporate.
it's a weak thought, but without the Usos being a tag team and without the Bloodline, they got to put Jimmy somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Why
yeah.
why not
They
why
do.
not put why not put Jimmy against Jay again and really get dig into the brother versus brother,
Yeah, yeah,
because that is Seth's title.
yeah.
It
Seth
is.
did make
But
that title.
exactly when would you turn him heel though, dude? You would have to like he would have. He's on this good guy run right now, so you would have to have him do something. You know what I mean? And it just I don't see him being pushed again. You know what I mean? As at least another singles guy. So
I don't know,
Right.
but when do you ever see the Usos doing another tag team run now that Jay is as big as Jay is?
no, no, like Jay would have to lose for that to happen again because like they just had Jimmy with Ray Phoenix, which was a
Hmm.
decent tag team, but I don't
Yeah.
see it going anywhere. You know.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah, well, they had made the comments the other night about trying to get Jimmy. Solo was saying, "Hey, let's get Jimmy. We
mm.
need Jimmy in the bloodline." So,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but that'll be interesting. Interesting to see what's going to happen.
yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah.
let's bring this one up.
What's next?
Uh this one was pretty exciting to see happen. Regular
Yes. What
So
I'm here for.
so hopefully they do something with them this time that they brought them back. You know, because they didn't
right.
do anything outside of the entrance and outside when they first came back. What have they been doing with them? You know.
Okay, Elegant. Okay, give them time. There's been injuries. There's been you. It's full circle, and it's a long story.
Okay.
You
Right.
gotta that legacy of Bray Wyatt. It ain't just something that you're gonna see every 15 minutes on SmackDown. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. And I'll agree with Elegant Sasquatch. They build them up, they push them for a couple weeks or 1 month, and then they
Yeah.
disappear. It's
Yep.
gone.
Like
So
Okay. So
so so here's my thing. Um, there is one, two, three, four, five of them, right? If
mhm,
one of them is injured, doesn't mean the other ones can't be around. And
exactly.
if you're not pushing them, it's build up, stop, build up, stop, build up, stop, build up, stop. So hopefully this time it's not so choppy.
Yeah.
Hopefully they just let them
I
go.
mean,
But
I
it's
understand that the leader of this, Bo, got hurt. I get that, but he's been healthy for like almost a month now, and
right,
you bring him back now, but like exactly where are they going?
all
Like
right.
That's the question I have is I don't know.
So my prediction for the Wyatt Six, because that's my guru right there. I love Bray Wyatt. I say um, two of them are going to go for the tag team belts, and then maybe Eric goes for something, just being that guy, that enforcer of the two.
Mhm.
But
Right.
I don't see them really pushing Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas into a heavyweight champion, anything for another year. You know,
Right.
they're gonna ride the Xena thing for a good 6, 7 months more. I don't know how many times. I haven't done the math of how much longer we really have Cena as far as the months go, because it's only going to be 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
Right.
But they've got Aleister Black, they've got Karrion Cross, they've
Yeah.
got all these dark characters that they can really do something with, and give some kind of story like, because to me, Bray Wyatt wasn't a wrestler per se. He was the creation and the story.
Mhm.
So I love the story, the behind the scenes, the mystery of it all. And that's what I want to see with the Wyatt Six. I want to see them just insert enough of, in the back of everyone's mind, they're right there.
Mhm.
Right.
Like so you I'm just kind of spitballing this, but you think they would do a supernatural versus supernatural type thing? So do
I mean,
Wyatt
you had
Six,
Undertaker, you had Kane.
yeah, but like because exactly who would they get with Alistair to because he's gonna need some sort of backup. Who would they put with him? Like who else do you have? I mean,
Carrion
Uh,
would be
yeah,
cool with
this is
Alistair.
true.
Karrion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's who I want to see go climbing all the way to the top.
mm.
Karrion
Yeah.
Cross.
I have a feeling they're going to be doing something with him major, like major,
Right.
like soon. Just kind of reading the tea leaves. From what it looks like, they're going to be doing something with him soon. And yeah,
Right. It'd be interesting to see them push him.
He's a
Um.
great wrestler too. Not even
Right.
he's a great mouthpiece,
yeah,
but the
Right.
man knows several martial arts, can break a bat with his thigh.
yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Right. Yeah. Him and and I hope they do right by Alistair Black too,
Mhm.
because
yeah.
he's
I mean,
very unique. Very unique. I like him. You know. Um.
I would say they gave him a whatever you want contract,
Yeah.
because
Right.
for the longest time he was never coming back to WWE.
Mhm.
Right.
As
Right.
he actually had a good thing going, and unfortunately with the AEW, he had a good thing going. And you know
Right.
what? I like how he kept the whole eye situation
Yes.
continuously
Yes,
in the new
yes.
company. I love that. That's super long term storytelling, and
Right.
he still kind of kept it now. It's not as much, but it's still
Right.
there. I find that great.
Right.
So,
So one of the matches I forgot to talk about Saturday night was the Drew McIntyre Damian Priest match. What were you guys' thoughts on that one?
I was bullish.
Hopefully it's dead.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's dead. Hopefully it's finished. You finally beat the dead horse to the dead horse to the glue factory on that one. Can we
Yeah.
be done
Right.
now?
Right.
Yeah. Like it
What?
was. I will say, listening to Jesse
Yeah.
Ventura
Yeah.
talk about that match while it was going on, I don't think he's
Yeah.
ever coming back to do another pay per view or
No.
anything like that because he,
No. Yeah.
yeah, that was it was funny
Well.
to listen to him saying he took the coward's way out
Yeah.
of the cage. I'm like, wouldn't you want to just take the easiest path out? I mean, I don't
Well.
know.
To be fair, it was when I heard it too. I'm like, yeah. And then you're like, well, this is Jesse the Body style. He's
Yeah.
always been like that when he does it. And I hope they weren't telling him to say that to open up another match to where, Drew says, "You took the easy way out. You didn't pin me." Hopefully that's not the case because
No.
I like Drew McIntyre and I like Damian Priest. It's just time for them to move on from each other. It's been done, but hopefully that wasn't them trying to plant a seed of, you went out of the ring, you didn't pin me.
Yeah. So
Look how
exactly.
far back. Look how far back they pushed Damian Priest.
Yeah.
Heavyweight title to
Right,
C.
right, right. Yeah,
And
that's
it's just like does each one of these go? Because McIntyre's legit heavyweight title
right,
contender wrestler. Damian Priest was a former heavyweight title guy, but
right,
he's just been kind of floundering. They don't really have direction for him yet. So I don't
right,
know where they're going with either one of these
right.
guys. I really don't.
Tag team. Put them together.
That would never happen. It's nah.
It could be the Dark Irish,
The Dark Irish.
the Dark Scotsman.
It'd be the Island Irish, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll find something for them guys to do. Let's talk about the women's match.
Do you want to talk about the promo that they cut on Friday night, or do you want to go right
Sure,
into that?
sure, sure.
Where Tiffy started talking, and basically everybody and the mother started coming out.
Right,
Alexa Bliss, who is what,
right.
27, Charlotte Flair, who's like what, 32, 33, came out,
Well, let's
and
talk about Charlotte Flair.
yeah,
Look at her. She drastically changed her look again.
yeah,
Drastically. You
it,
see how
it,
she's drastically changed her look again.
I think they're pushing for a um, dark queen and Alexa Bliss combination.
They may be pushing for that. I still hold true that they're going to build Charlotte Flair. It's got some knee problems. I don't think she's going to be around for a long time. I think they're building it up to where her and Jade Cargill are going to get it on, and Charlotte's going to pass the torch to Jade. If Jade beats Charlotte, that will give her more credibility. And they've been eyeing each other when they've come back. There's been 2 occasions now where Jade's come down and they've looked each other up and down. So I'm telling you, there's going to be a build up for that match. It's coming.
I could see Alexa and Charlotte going back at each other because with the
Yeah,
with the shots that Alexa takes, it's
yeah,
hilarious. Like they're so catty but so funny at the same time. It works.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Apparently, my Alexa doesn't like us talking about what we're talking about. Apparently, but yeah, it's. I found it really funny that Tiffany said that she was the upgrade opposed to them being the
yeah.
older models, and I'm
Yep.
like, they're not that old. They're like their late 20s, early 30s. But I found that really, really funny. So
I feel like you got to treat the women's division like you do Playboy. Like they only got until they're 35,
Right,
36.
right,
makes
right.
sense. But yeah, I can't wait to actually see what they do with the women's match because there's like what 4 or 5 people in this one, and
Right,
I want to see what they do with it.
right. You
Some of the
know,
best matches are
mhm,
women.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Something to think about too, and maybe I've got it wrong with Charlotte and Jade, but if you look at how Jade was in AEW,
Mm-hmm.
right? Jade kind of had that arrogant queen type
Yeah.
persona. What if, and this is just coming out of nowhere, but what if Jade and Charlotte were to team and be kind of a heel team?
They could do that. Like Charlotte would be the
It,
mouthpiece and Jade would be the muscle. I get that. I can see that.
they
Yeah,
could do it if Charlotte's knee can hold up.
right,
I
And
don't
if
see Charlotte
and,
having another 2 years in her.
and if
right,
Charlotte can put her ego aside, because with all
right,
that's the biggest thing. Because you got this up and coming star person in Jade. I
right.
don't think Charlotte wants to give up her seat at the table for Jade. That's your biggest issue. I don't think
The
they would.
one thing I love and I hate is the fact that they bring Charlotte's divorces up
Yep.
and plugs it in.
Oh man, yeah, yeah, yep.
Because
So,
she's probably as wild as her daddy is.
well, I don't know if anybody can be as wild as the man.
Woo!
I
That's the
don't,
man.
but um, so let me ask you this. So where does that leave a couple of these ladies? So you've got Naya,
Yep.
right? Um, I actually think I would like to see her actually get another championship run.
Yeah.
She's been working, man. I'll tell you what. The matches that she's had lately, she has been making everybody look good.
Yep.
She's I think she's proved to everybody that she's a worker, she's a team player. Um, you got her, and then here's the wild card. What are they doing with Naomi? What is she going to be doing?
I
It's like
feel
it's
like
all over the place with her. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You're like, what's going on?
eventually, I think they're gonna give Naomi a title run.
I
I
mean,
don't know how, but she's been there,
I,
and
I see one of the minor title for the internet or
Yeah,
the U.S. title, the
yeah, the
female.
U.S. title.
And,
Yeah,
yeah,
I could see
I
yeah,
that.
can see her winning that. The heavyweight wise, I don't see that in her future. You know,
I
Right.
don't know what did they promise her to get her to come back.
I have no idea. No
Well,
idea.
let's think about that though. She was at where was she at? She was at TNA, right?
I think so.
Before she
Yeah.
came back. So let's put it this way. You already know WWE money is more than TNA. So I don't think it was a matter of promising her anything as
Mhm.
far as championships. It was, hey, here's the number, you come back,
Yep.
because TNA money is not even close to WWE money. You
I
know?
feel like I feel like WWE writes the checks for TNA. So
Well,
like
I'm sure.
anymore,
She came back really before WWE kind of like really
Mhm.
got involved with TNA. But here's the other thing. Makes everything convenient for her now, right? Because now she's on the road with her husband.
Oh, yep. Yep.
So,
taking
you
those back
know,
shots.
so she's, so life's more convenient for her. She's making more money. But I just don't know what we're planning. I mean, I would agree with you, Sasquatch, that I could see the Intercontinental or whatever they're calling it, the
Yeah.
USA Championship on her. I don't think she's going to get the heavyweight.
No.
There's too many players in the heavyweight division. The big championship.
It's the same
Uh,
players though.
well, you
Same
got new ones.
players.
Well, it is, but I think dynamics are going to change now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the way that they're kind of making it to where Tiffy is like Charlotte 2.0. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, that's
I,
kind of
I can
funny,
I can definitely see that.
Well,
right?
let's talk about the Selena Vega
Right,
Chelsea
right.
match. I mean, from what I hear, Selena busted that nose.
Oh,
Yeah,
100% she did.
right,
You
right,
see it at the end of the match, the
right.
blood just coming out, and I was trying to figure out where she did it at, and I have
The
a feeling
six
it was
the 619.
yeah, it was either that or that move that she did off the top to finish the match.
Right,
So,
Yeah.
right.
but Chelsea has gotten herself over, and that
Yeah,
I like. She went from being super annoying to being super over, and
Hmm.
it's amazing to be honest with you.
right.
But look who she's bringing with. Piper.
Mhm.
Piper being the enforcer. Love
Right,
it. Here for it.
Yep. And
right.
then who? I'm sorry. Who's the other lady that's with her? I
Alba,
Yeah, I was
is that Alba Fire?
think so.
Yeah, because they
I,
really.
got rid of her because her partner.
hmm,
They got rid of her partner when they dumped a bunch of people.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that was actually it was Alba Fire and what was it, Gigi Dolan or what was the other
Yeah.
one? They won against they actually beat Bianca and well they didn't beat him. It was that try that was
Yeah. Yeah.
the three way for the tag team belts, and they actually had the tag team belts for a little bit.
And I'm to be honest with you, I'm really digging this whole cabinet situation. With like TNA had a cabinet, like had
Right.
something like 10, 15 years ago, I forget
Right.
what it was, but it had like basically the president and then all the people underneath
Yeah.
him. And
Right.
I love this angle that they're doing. I love this little thing that they're doing with Chelsea and them. So,
Right. Yeah, it is pretty unique.
yeah. So.
Speaking of ladies, so where do you think Rhea, we're not going to talk the other program now. Where do you think Rhea fits in now?
She's too big to not go for anything outside of a heavyweight title.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Right.
because she is your number one, your biggest superstar in the
Right.
company.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So it's just like I don't know.
It's
If she's,
only a matter of time.
yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
she's taking some time off because you don't see her as much on TV anymore or
Right.
what. But
Right.
whenever she does come back, you automatically have to put her in the
Right.
heavyweight title contention. So.
You got her, you got Lyra Valkyria. She's
Yep.
doing really well.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of Becky Lynch.
Not this Becky Lynch. No,
Nope, not
Not
this.
this one.
this one is trash.
Right. I
2
really
years
think,
ago.
yeah, 2 years ago. I think there's a couple things that her mic skills are just not good as a heel.
Yep.
They're terrible.
She doesn't have the strength that she did either.
Right. She doesn't have the strength. Um, the moniker, the man, that needs to be buried. They need to stop. That's just not.
Yes, just stop it.
Just stop that. You know what I would like to see is just have her join Seth. Have her be the woman that's involved, so that way, because that's what they're missing anyway.
Mhm.
Get her with them, and because I don't see her. I mean, you watch her wrestle, and it's not giving her crap, but she can't do what she used to do. It's not believable.
If they would push her against the men like they did Rhea. Remember when Rhea was hitting and throwing and suplexing all the guys and no one could touch her?
Right.
And
Right.
so was Nia. Nia entered
Right.
the men's Royal Rumble. I mean,
Right.
like
Yeah.
I hate. It probably will never happen, but I actually kind of want to see an intergender match on WWE. But it'll never happen. It's only for like
Right.
TNA and like the Indies. But I would love to see
Right.
one, just one.
Right.
But it will never happen. So
Right. And then like when you look at NXT, right? There are so many awesome women in NXT that are becoming. It's going to be crazy. Like,
you just perked up, Jay.
well, let's okay. So I'm gonna talk two of my favorites from in NXT, right? Jordan Grace, which I don't think she should have been thrown to NXT. She was ready for Raw or SmackDown.
No.
I think the timing was wrong because I think they thought Jade was going to be something bigger, and she was the powerhouse. But so they're like, you know what, we're going to put Jordan Grace on NXT, and then bring
I
her up.
follow Jordan Grace and her man, the Octopus, Jonathan Graham.
Yep.
That little buff man. Whenever they can get him, they need to get him.
Yep.
Right.
And then you get him, and then now you got another Apollo Crews on your hands, and then what are you gonna do with him?
No, because he's another man of mystery, and what I love about him is that he's a black man of mystery. You don't see a lot of that.
You don't, but look how I hate to say it, but look how WWE books black talent. I hate to break it down the racial wise, but they don't know how to book black talent.
Right.
But that was the Vince McMahon era. We're in the Paul Levine era. Is it going to be different?
I mean, so far nothing's changed. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
You know, another one they kind of like faltered with was Carmelo Hayes.
Yes.
Like that dude. Now I'm not saying he's heavyweight champion material, right? But he should be IC. He should be in the Intercontinental. Going after that, I mean, he was fantastic in NXT.
But
I feel like that any guy coming up from NXT that you think is going to get a major heavyweight push, they should start him off building a tag team. They have such a great tag team division that they don't utilize. Look at how many times the tag team titles are not defended on a pay-per-view.
Right.
And so in the 90s and the 2000s, That was the biggest matches.
You know, I may catch heat from this, but there is not a single tag team in WWE right now that I dig. I don't like any of them.
No, I can't
It's
say I can't say
I,
that I do.
I'm personally I'm a fan of machine guns, Motor City Machine Guns.
they're
I'm a fan of I'm a fan of their previous work. Just put it that way.
yeah, their previous work was good, but now I'm kind of like, you know, they're so. You know what I think the division needs as tag team? This is old school me talking just because of what I like, but they don't have that tag team that can come out and you're like, oh shit,
Yeah,
people are going to get beat up. Like
yeah.
this team is going to go out there and crush people. I hate to say it, but they need a
That
tag team that
yeah,
can come out and squash people.
it's all high flyers in their tag
Yeah,
team division. I
they
hate to
need
say, except for the Viking Raiders. Even though one of them can like legitimately
right,
jump over a person, they're still that's the closest thing
right.
I
that
thought
they
that was you.
What's that? Unless it's me. Oh yeah, yeah.
But the
Um,
problem with the Viking Raiders, I like them, don't get me wrong, but how many times are they going to reimagine that tag team?
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's the War Raiders, the Viking Raiders, the this Raider. I mean, next week they're going to be like the Dunkin' Donuts Raiders. I mean, I don't know. They keep
yeah.
doing, you know,
I gotcha.
but I really think they
Uh,
do. They messed up with the Authors of Pain. If they
Yeah,
would have let those guys go out there and
yes,
crush people,
yes,
crush
right.
because
yes.
it was believable. When you saw those guys come down, you saw Paul Ellering with them, right?
Yeah.
You're like, dude, this is like Road Warrior version 2.0 or 3.0, whatever you want to say.
Mm.
You're like, these guys can throw the beat down. Let them do what they do. But, you know,
But yeah, there was more behind the scenes stuff that people
sure,
didn't know about why they
sure,
got released, and it was
sure,
all locker room
sure,
situations, and
sure.
which was okay.
But just as an example, if you were to get a team like that, I
Right.
think they need a team like model them. I mean, you don't have to model them like them, but you know what how they but the attitude, the aggressiveness, the size, the build
Yep.
of the Road Warriors. If you had a modern day team that did that,
Yep.
dude, it would add fire to that team. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the New Day from before and they doing certain things, but now you look at them like it's just not believable, man. Just
No,
it's
no,
not.
No,
yeah, like I said,
insert.
like what we said in the previous episode, they dropped the ball with the Big E thing. They could have
Right.
extended that. They should have extended it.
Yeah,
They would have
Right.
got
yeah.
more heat on them if they would have extended it.
Sure.
And I
Now
it's just
enter
they're kind
Bronson
of
Reed and
yeah,
Braun Breaker.
exactly.
Yeah,
They're
but
just
see,
kind of
here's the problem with that though.
stagnant now.
You put those two in a tag team, it's like I said, Braun Breaker, they need to reignite that rocket on him and send him to the top, just like they're doing Jacob Fatu. Those two need to be the ones, but you put him in a tag team, you're not showcasing Braun Breaker.
Yeah,
You're hamstringing them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
right.
mean, yes, those two could go out and be dominant, but do you really want to see them as a dominant tag team, or do you want to see Braun Breaker just crush people?
I feel like Braun Breaker, great athlete,
Right.
phenomenal physique. I feel like he's still, and no matter how much he tries to say, I'm not riding the coattails of the Steiners.
Oh, he sure
He's
is. He sure is.
he is,
Sure.
and so to me, you need somebody that's been slept on forever, which to me would be Montez Ford. That man can do the high flying.
Sure.
He can do the power.
Right.
He's large. He's built. But like Elegant said again, you know, another black man going to the top of the WWE. Is it going to happen?
So if you do that, then what do you do with the other gentleman? I'm sorry, I don't know I don't remember his name. What do
Dawkins.
you?
I
Dawkins.
Yeah,
Dawkins.
yeah. But
Dawkins,
what do you do with Dawkins then? Like Dawkins isn't a big enough star to go by himself on singles run.
and that's why they've kept the Street Profits where they are.
Exactly. But
Right.
yeah. Because I hate to say it, if this was a white tag team, they would have been broken up already. To be honest with you.
Sure.
Yeah.
True story.
You
True
know,
story.
I gotta tell you, my one of my favorite tag teams of color. There was two of them. So one was, I believe, Doom. It was Ron Simmons and Butch Reed.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
in the early, what was it, like probably 10 years ago, and I know the one actually passed away in a heroic way. Remember Crime Time?
Oh yes.
Hell yeah.
Dude, those guys were awesome.
Yeah.
Man, they every time they came out, they made me laugh, man. They were awesome. They had skill, they had ability. Um, I think it was
Who do
kind
you
of
know that can wrestle in some Timberlands? Come on.
right. I mean,
This is
the
true.
only problem with that is the only thing that I found that was kind of wrong with them is they really kind of they made them play to a certain type of stereotypical way, which I don't think was right. But those
Right.
guys had talent, and they were fun to watch,
Yeah.
and they they were super cool. But it's just one of those things. But Doom, man, Butch Reed and Ron Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were scary. I remember watching them in what was it, NWA back before it became
Yeah,
WCW. They were
yeah.
scary.
Right. Though I mean, those were
Well,
that
you want to
team.
talk Ron Simmons,
Ron Simmons
the
and
Acolytes?
Jerry
Yeah,
Curl was scary.
yeah,
The Acolytes, when it was a mixed tag team,
Yep.
yeah.
that I did not want to get beat up by the APA.
No,
Right,
absolutely not. But like I said, Ron Simmons when he had the Jerry Curl, that was hilarious,
right.
scary but funny at the same time.
And the thing with
Damn.
Doom is that they were one of the only teams where they would go against the Road Warriors, and you're like, dude, these
Yeah,
guys can take the Road Warriors out.
yeah,
It was believable, and those guys were like, they didn't mess around, man. They were super aggressive. They had it going on.
yeah.
Imagine if it would have been later in time and had Doom in WWE.
I mean,
Yeah.
they did for a little bit. It was called the Harlem Heat. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
that was I mean that
I
wasn't Doom
mean,
though. That wasn't
Don't do
Doom.
that.
I
Don't do
mean
that.
you got Ron Simmons, who is a
yeah,
legit tough guy,
yeah,
Butch Reed, who is a legit tough guy. Throwing them guys together in WWE, that would have been pretty dangerous. I mean, that was around the
Yeah.
time that Demolition was around. I
yeah.
hate to say it, but they would have
Oh yeah, they would have
beat the
mopped the
hell out
floor
of
with
Demolition.
us.
Yeah, would have mopped the floor
I
with
get
them.
it.
Yeah,
I get it.
but the other girl I was going to talk about coming up from NXT, Lola Vice.
Okay,
Uh oh,
I can see
uh
it.
oh. I hope she makes it up. Lola Vice is good. They've got some awesome women there.
Yes.
I will say this, not to be a hater. I hope they don't bring Nikita Lyons up before they bring Jordan Grace or Lola Vice or any of the other women up, because that would just be.
Oh,
They're I think they're done
oh,
pushing her. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
sorry.
push
What was
her.
her name? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nothing. I like her physique more than her wrestling. Let me just say that.
I see, and that's my thing is I have nothing against Nikita Lyons. I just
No,
don't think she's cut out to be a wrestler anymore. There's other things she could do, or maybe make
she
her a
can sing,
valet.
can't she?
I believe so. I think she was pursuing some sort of singing thing, but I mean, make her a valet. Do something. I mean, I
Yeah.
just her in ring because she always gets hurt. She's got bad knees. She always gets hurt. I think it's
Now
time.
you bring up a good point. When was the last time that we had a legit, scary valet women's manager?
Well,
I
when was the
mean,
last time we had a valet manager outside of Scarlett?
Yeah.
Scarlett, and you know what though? They're not using Scarlett to her potential because Scarlett can wrestle.
What about she was kind of scary with the War Raiders, the Viking Raiders. What was her name?
She's coming back from
Yeah.
what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's coming back, but
She's not going to be with them though, I don't believe. Yeah.
I don't
She was
believe so. I think she's gonna do her own because like they don't need them. You know, she wasn't a mouthpiece. She was just a scary
I'll
entity.
tell you who. Sherry, sensational
Yeah,
Sherry Martel. She
yeah,
was
Yes.
yeah.
yeah. She
Yeah.
she she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, you know who I remember, and not just because of the things that she did on TV when I was a child, but Deborah
Yeah,
for
I
Jeff
mean,
Jarrett.
Yeah, with Jeff Jarrett. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
she. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
For the scary wise, yeah. I mean, I don't think Vicky Guerrero would be counted. She's just
No. You know,
she's scary to wake up to, but that's about it.
I mean, she was kind of a valet, Lita, when she was coming down with the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then at one point, she actually overshadowed the Hardy Boys.
Right,
Just like,
right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Can you do a better moonsault than your boyfriend? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's but I really think she's got to figure out Nikita Lyons at some point has to figure out what to do because wrestling I don't think is in her future anymore. Not
Yeah,
in ring.
yeah. I want to see what they do with Stephanie. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name. Yeah, I want to
Stephanie
see what they
Bakira.
do when they call
Yeah.
her up.
She's
And
I
then
believe she's wrestling tonight against Jordan Grace, I believe.
the other one is Jada Parker. I want to see what they do with
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Those two right now are your biggest shining stars in your NXT.
Well, you can't keep bringing all these NXT people up and not having a storyline for them to go to.
Exactly.
Everyone's going to fight Becky because Becky was the first NXT to do it.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to fight Flair because she's the top.
They will be, from what it sounds like, they will be having an Evolution pay per view, all female pay per view, which is going to be great.
Yeah, that's right. That's
I'm
right.
ready for that.
I'm
ready for that.
To be honest with that, I don't know when it is.
Yeah, I saw they advertised. Didn't they advertise it last night on Saturday Night's Main Event? They had a little blurb.
No, for sure. I kind of fast forward through a lot of the stuff, so it's just like
I think maybe they were listening to you, Chris, because I think at some point they're going to have to do a show that is just the women.
Yeah,
There's
they have
too
enough.
much.
They have enough talent between
Yep.
all three brands to do it. It's just
Right.
a matter of when. And like, will you, is it going to be like a Saturday morning thing, or is it going to be?
Well, if they can do, what's that? Beat the clock championship and NXT and everything, they can do just a women's whole storyline and bring more women into wrestling.
Yeah.
Well,
here's
the thing though, and I think here's the concern. If I was the head of the table making decisions, here would be my only concern. Am I going to be able to sell out arenas with just the women?
Yeah, at that point, you're going to have to run small. I hate to say it, smaller arenas.
And then here's the problem.
Or do like what they do with did with NXT, where they had it in one specific location.
Right.
I mean, because
they got the money to do one specific location. If they do the Thunderdome, or they had, I don't know, is the Thunderdome dead now because of like once COVID was over?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So then just use the Thunderdome for the women's division. Build that up. I think you could sell more money with a whole women's story and a whole women's show than the WNBA. There, I said it.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm not going to argue on that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a match between Angel Reese and Clark, Caitlin Clark. That would be big money. I mean,
and what I love about it now is it's wrestling and not. And don't get me wrong, I was a horny teenager. I loved the mud pies and the mud fights and everything. But I love that it's actually women showing what they can do.
Right, right.
Yeah.
What's the other woman that's in NXT? She used to be part of the Nexus. She was Nexus, and she was tall, and then she had the shorter female with her. The two, but they let her partner go here just when they did the big release. They wrestled against Jade and Bianca. They were
the deadly the eyelash.
Lash Legend. Legend.
And I like the one they let go.
Yeah,
I liked her.
I liked her too, but Lash Legend, if they use her, I mean, she's no joke, man. She's strong.
Yeah.
So, she's strong. She's got athletic ability. I think they've got some promise with her if they would just market her right. You know what I mean? Because when they wrestled against Bianca and Jade, I mean, Lash was in there and she was pretty much match in strength with Jade.
Yeah.
They were, that was no joke. So, I mean, they've got the women to bring it. They could fill it with no problem. They could do a women's wrestling show. It would just be, like I said, where do you do it? You can't put them on the road because they're not going to sell out
No.
arenas, not yet.
And then
But
exactly what day would you do it? You couldn't, what, Tuesday? So you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday? That's a lot. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
that's the
you
issue.
could.
That's a lot. That's a lot of wrestling that people may or may not watch, you know?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if there was a women's league on Wednesday night, I would watch that over AEW.
This is true.
You know, I
That's
mean,
true.
yeah.
I mean, look at Next. When Next started, no one was wanting a part of that.
Right,
Now I'm actually interested to see.
right, right. So, guys, I think we've reached our final portion. I'm thinking we're going to call it Lock It In.
Uh-huh.
And what that is my scroll's not working, so Alien Sasquatch or Three Spray Ray, you have to lock it in. I figure this is for everybody in the chat. What are your predictions? What are some predictions you're going to make about wrestling coming up? And let's start off with you. Sasquatch. What are some predictions you're going to make?
I think in the near future and like the upcoming wise, I actually think Jay's going to lose his title. That's number
Yeah.
one. Number two, long term, they are going to have a WrestleMania in Europe, like in England, with the whole fiasco with New Orleans that just happened. I have a feeling that's going to happen. So those are going to be my two locks: one short term, one long term.
Right.
So,
what about you, Jay?
I'd have to agree with Elegant. I'm gonna say that Jay's going to lose his title. I would say by WrestleMania, but I don't see who the person is that's going to take it from him. I would say it's going to be Seth Rollins, but then it's going to have to be Seth Rollins turning face. Once John Cena loses that title, it's going to be to a face. You can only have a bad guy and a good guy. You can't have two bad guys running it all.
Right. My two predictions I'm going to make. Number one, Jay's going to lose it, but I believe Logan Paul is going to take it. John Cena is going to interfere somehow, make that happen because I think the storyline. I'm just looking at storyline and what's good for business and keeping asses in the seats. John Cena kind of planted the seed. If those two had it, they could destroy wrestling, and that's the goal, right? So that's going to be my prediction number one. And prediction number two, somehow, some way, R-Truth is going to be the savior of WWE. And I'm sticking to
for
it.
it. I'm here for it.
There you go. There it is.
I'm sticking to it.
There it is.
I gotta see R-Truth win it, man. I don't think that, when you look at it, is there any other person who could take it where you'd be like, dude, this is just hilarious. This is so awesome. It's so off the wall, out in left field.
No.
The guy who has no business being the savior, being the savior. So I think it would be hilarious, So.
I think that's what the people want. They want him to win it and get his flowers for the first time.
Right, right. Did we have any predictions in the chat, Squatch? Anybody make some predictions?
Nah, it's
Crickets. All right. Well, as always, guys, we're actually going to end it here a little bit early tonight because Sasquatch has to be on another show. But a couple cool things happened tonight. We're all together.
Yes.
30 Spray J is official. Absolutely. He is part of the trifecta of terror when it comes to this show.
He is the Hollywood Hogan of the group. Yeah.
There we go. Once again, I'd like to say, everybody, thank you for your support. Thank you for coming out and watching it. Tell everybody that to come join us. We have fun.
Yep. Share. Hit the button, smash, like, subscribe,
and
all
share.
that good.
But much love and respect to everybody. And can't wait to see you guys next week when we talk more wrestling and we get wild and crazy about predictions and trying to figure out this wacky world of wrestling.
Yes.
Take care. Have a good Memorial weekend, everybody.